What's up? Nah, fuck, I can do that more energetically. What's up, Goth Gamer Nation? One of the intended uses of this format was to briefly take a look at shorter, smaller games that interested me. Ones that, while interesting, I feel like would be diminished by some kind of hour-long examination. So I just wanted to point you in the direction of this little horror game. It's another Zemansky joint called Iron Lung. In just about the most bleak vision of the future you could imagine, every known planet and star blinks out of existence, and all that remains of humanity were those in space stations. With nothing close to a hospitable home or natural resources, you control a convict that is more or less condemned to a useful death by exploring a mysterious moon covered in blood. So you are welded inside a makeshift submarine with no porthole and given a Game Boy camera to photograph anomalies marked on an incomplete map. What Iron Lung is absolutely successful at is cultivating an atmosphere with so little. It's a tense, dreadful, claustrophobic experience made mostly from music and sound. Every creak and groan your crumbling tin can ship makes is a concern that kind of brings you to a dead stop. Maybe it's because I knew so little about the premise and how everything worked that for a little while I was just focused on playing the game correctly and learning how to use the ship, and then it just, starts like expertly fucking with you. Oh, thank Christ. Just infinite darkness. Whew. I can't remember the last game I played where I realized I, for the whole duration, was just kind of squinting and leaned forward, engrossed in getting these numbers correct so I could be rewarded with a grainy potato picture, giving the slightest impression of what horrors await beyond a thin sheet of metal. It's so good at kind of lulling you into a state of comfort when you think you've got the hang of it, and we're right on schedule, chugging along to the next anomaly, and then it does some little dickish thing to throw you off. There are also little bits of interactivity when you step away from the controls. In fact, one of the most memorable bits for me was coming to the slow realization that my ship was damaged. Why is there a fireplace sound effect? Oh, 'cause there's fire! But for the most part, you're just gonna be fussing with the ship's controls and checking your map, trying to avoid bumping into things thanks to these proximity sensors that beep. And from there, I feel like it's something you're better off experiencing on your own if you're made as uncomfortable as I am by the ocean and what nightmares it holds. It's not much better when it's made out of blood. I'll tell you that. Also, as a video, I can only show you me piloting it so much. It's really one of those had to be there kind of situation. So I do recommend Iron Lung if you feel like being locked in a metal tube at the bottom of an ocean of blood for an hour or so. I don't know anything else that will get you this close to the real deal. Maybe Freddy Fish. Stop it, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. What the fuck? Very impressed at how little it required visually to be spooky. It's a tiny micro idea utilized expertly. It's very psychological and lonely. One of the first things I thought was great is that you're given a little rundown of what you need to do at the beginning from a voice over a radio that begins to cut out as you descend until the last words you hear are, "You're on your own." It's like you don't even get the final reassurance of being wished good luck. But yeah, so much of that dread is just from your brain filling in the gaps. So while I can only imagine it's great fodder for streamers and the like to yell at, I think you're better off just playing in complete darkness alone with headphones. I kept thinking it was sort of like being inside a really stripped down classic episode of The Twilight Zone, just with any philosophical banter or over-the-top score removed. The music that is there, very interesting, very haunting. On the Steam page, it makes mention of being inspired by the soundtrack to Doom 64, which, never having an N64, I never played and was very curious of it. And having listened to it, I feel, well, firstly, that they nailed it. And secondly, didn't know a Doom game went this hard, in a non-metal sense. 'Cause Doom 3 is, I guess, the spooky Doom? And that soundtrack doesn't have shit on this one. So I guess also check out Aubrey Hodges' Bandcamp page, or play Doom 64, which again I have not played. Wait. Okay, I just checked and I already own it somehow, so I should play that. Anyway, Iron Lung. Those my shoes.
the back.